Well, it's finally happened. The other shoe has finally dropped. John Riccitiello of EA Battlefield. I want to charge the player every single time he has to reload his gun fame, has finally been fired by Unity. Now, I knew that the firing was going to come eventually, because as they said, they were in a restructuring mode. Restructuring mode meaning we need to get rid of every single person who agreed to this pricing model change / update that has driven developers away from us and destroyed any trust that we had in the video game creation development community. We need to get rid of all of these people and get our company back on track. That was the restructuring that they were finally doing. And it seems as though it's finally reached the tippy top of the pyramid and John is out. But don't feel bad for John. He's bounced back from controversies like this before, where he's cratered a company into the ground and he gets hired somewhere else because he has 300 years of fucking experience and they need somebody in that job. He's gonna bounce back. He's gonna lay low for about 4 or 5 years, running a company and you not knowing that he's in charge of that company, and then he's gonna want to get his grubby little mitts on some more money, and he's gonna institute some type of change in some way, shape, or form that's gonna crater that company. And then everybody's gonna look up and go, John, is that you? It's him. He's back one more time to fuck it up. Now the person who's going to be in charge of, it looks like they're just handing over ownership of the company to James M. Whitehurst. Well, it's not really ownership of the company. He's going to be the interim CEO until they can bring in another CEO. For people who are completely unfamiliar with basically John Riccitiello and the Unity situation, to explain John Riccitiello, you have to go all the way back to EA. When he was running EA, he pushed for, if you ever wondered why there was a period of time where every single EA game had microtransactions, and there were microtransactions for like the most dumbest shit on the face of the planet. John Riccitiello is this person who was in charge of EA at that time, pushing for more microtransactions in video games. I think there's a FIFA game that was under him, and for a lot of people who don't know, FIFA is probably the most microtransaction game that EA has, because it goes out to international markets where there are microtransactions for everything. Colors for your jerseys, different jerseys in general, like stuff for the different balls, stuff for the players, card packs that you could get that don't really give you the player but give you stars and points that you can put down in order to unlock the player, and you needed something else. It was a mess. It was a complete mess, and he was fired by EA and he disappeared into the ether, and he ended up at a company known as Unity. And Unity is one of those game, I don't even really want to call them like a game systems company, but they kind of are a game systems development company that they create a game engine, which is the Unity engine, that a lot of developers who create games for handheld devices and a lot of people who were making 2D games love to use, because it was very intuitive and also super simple to use in comparison to, let's say, the Unreal Engine or anything that Ubisoft puts out, or any of the more private engines that other companies were basically using. He put out there was a change. Let's put it like that. There was a change that happened where the way in which they did their pricing model for any of these other engines that are used by different companies, usually you're open to use the engine until you hit a user threshold. And usually that user threshold is like, depending on the company, it could be like 500,000 units purchased of your game, or 1 million units purchased of your game. And then there are royalties that are paid out to us in a small form that allows you to eat at the table, but that also allows us to, walk up and probably pick up a little side dish and eat as well. John Riccitiello said, fuck all that. Unity going for the whole bag. We want it. You guys may have developed the game, but you created the game building our tools. It's the equivalent of hiring a contractor to build your house, and then once the contractor builds your house, he charges you half of your mortgage for you to live in the house. So not only are you paying your mortgage to the bank, you're also paying half of whatever the bank takes to that of the contractor for the rest of your days. Even after you've paid off the bank, the contractor continues to get his money. He continues to get his slice of the cheese, and game developers absolutely lost their fucking minds, as they should, because it was a unfair business practice. There was also the fact that even though they were implementing these changes, these new fees, that there weren't any tangible plans for them to basically track if people were legitimate customers without putting a third-party software on your computer to basically spy on you, or a third-party software in the system itself that spied on everyone to see whether or not that person was a legitimate purchaser of the product. Which means that if you hated a fucking game developer, you could set your computer with a runtime script to download a game and install a game 1 million times over the weekend, and then that developer would have to pay Unity for each and every one of those fraudulent installs. It was an absolute fucking mess. It tanked any type of faith the community had in Unity. It drove away a lot of the people who were developing games for Unity, where some people just stopped development altogether and decided to transfer their game over to something else, and other people were just like, yeah, we're currently working on our game in a completely different engine over here on the side so we can get away from this bullshit. And Unity was running around with its hair on fire for about a month, where they tried to walk back some of the changes while keeping some of the changes, and then they fully walked back a lot of the changes while keeping one of the most controversial changes, and then finally they were like, okay, we're scrapping all those changes that you guys heard about. This is the direction that we're going to be going now. And they put out a new basically a policy that a lot of people essentially looked at and went, this is how your policy should have been. This policy here makes more sense. It's more in line with, let's just say, the industry standard. But Riccitiello's out. It's great to fucking see. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see. I can only hope that he doesn't land anywhere, that this is the end for him in gaming, that he never returns to another gaming company that has something going on with it that connects it to video games in any way, shape, or form. My opinion, he should probably go for manager position at McDonald's. Works out. Checks out. He can go to any other, like, food service. He can go into that. He can sell cars. He's just not that guy to make decisions for your company in regards to video games. And I can only hope that he never he never darkens another video game company / developer's doorstep ever again in his existence. Now, this is the end for him within this space. But let me know what you guys think. Like is it too late? I feel as though it's too late. I feel as though Unity should have made this move a month and a half ago when this controversy first started. It's like, no, this is a change of the top guy. We're getting rid of the top guy, and we're going to be walking some of this back to find a more common ground that we can move forward with the community. But I mean, this is the same guy who sold like a big chunk of his shares before he made that change, knowing that the company was going to tank in regards to its shares. Like, he's a scummy motherfucker. So, you know, hey, I guess we're on Riccitiello watch to see where exactly the fuck he goes. But I really hope that Unity is able to get back some of that trust that they lost with the community, and this may be the step in the right direction. But comment down below, let me know, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.